So thank you everyone for joining the next session, and thank you for those who have been finishing the first sessions and quickly join our current session. So my name is Huong and I am one of the e-learning advisors here at Italy UQ. And today I also have my colleague Helen, who is another learning advisors, e-learning advisors who support academic at UQ about the different e-learning tool and platform at the UQ. And the topic that we are presenting today is about collaborative tool. And if you have been in the previous sessions, there will be some overlaps between the tool that we are presenting and Tegan presenting. But in our session, we will provide you from the aspects of how to use that in the classroom. And hopefully it will accommodate with the session that Tegan have just presented. And in our session, we will cover the two tools, a discussion and Padlet. And if time permit, Helen will be demo a bit about another tool called Ripple. So I would like to start first with the acknowledgement of country. The University of Queensland acknowledges the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which we meet. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognize their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. So first, some note about collaborative learning. Collaborative learning is an umbrella term for a variety of educational approaches involving the joint intellectual effort by students and teachers together. Collaborative learning activities vary widely, but most centering on students' exploration or application of the course material, not just the teacher presentation or explication of it. Collaborative learning is underpinned by the concept that learning is a natural social act and that learning occurs through talking, attempting to solve problems and seeking to understand the world. And in addition, it might have occurred to you that learning in the 21st century might have some distinct characteristics. For example, learning is moving from reliance on traditional text-based system to multimedia system, which use multiple communication channels. And at the same time, learning in the 21st century involved the interconnecting learners themselves with more co-construction of knowledge and more collaboration across different boundaries. And digital technology have been evolving very quickly to support learning involving multimedia and connection with the others and resources. So therefore, the skill that students can practice within their classroom through collaborative activities will be of immediate importance before their graduation. So collaborative learning suggests that group learning helps students develop their higher level thinking, oral communication, self-management, and leadership skill. And I'm sure that you have very good ideas of the pedagogy that you have been using in teaching and learning. And our main goal today is to introduce you the e-learning tool that can help you achieve your pedagogical intention related to collaborative learning in your teaching. Let's talk a bit about the course design components. So at UQ, we use Blackboard as our learning management system. And you know that there are announcement sections in the course menu, learning resources, assessment, grade center, Zoom, and recording. So these are the core components in the course design. And we have a few tools that can help with the collaborative learning in a course, including a discussion, Padlet, and Ripple. We have a few more tools, but today we focus on this collaborative tool. And with this tool, you can create learning activity to add to the learning resources in your course. And you can also use this tool to create some formative assessment as well. So some of the questions that we often receive from the academics, when should we use one platform or the other, or should we use both of them? So I will hand over to Helen to explain about this.
Thank you, Huong. Hi, everyone. My name's Helen. I'm also an e-learning advisor with the Italy e-learning team. And I am really thrilled to be presenting to you a discussion board. If you've been in the previous session, Dean mentioned how she worked with it. So we will have more time to actually practice using a discussion. All right. So what is a discussion in general and why would you want to use it? Ed Discussion is an enhanced discussion board with a very advanced functionality where you can embed anything that has iframe, you can add videos, images, all multimedia. It keeps all class communications or course communications in one place. It also gives you, the student, direct access to stuff, especially if staff posts everything quickly, and especially if the students are overseas, so they don't have the chance to talk to the staff. And also it scales class communications and removes the email load where a student posts something and you answer it, and then another student posts the same thing. So on a discussion board, everyone sees basically what's being discussed. And it helps you keep the course discussion structured by use of categories and subcategories, which I will show you in just a second. And it also, and Dean also mentioned that it's like a bit of a social platform. So when students can interact with each other, because it just recently a discussion introduced chats and channels similar to Microsoft Teams, whose joint tendencies have been delayed. So in the absence of Teams or wide use of Teams in next semester, we can use that discussion. All right, and it's basically just a very good tool to communicate your ideas with advanced functionality. Okay, now let's get busy. Let me give you this link. I'll pop it in the chat. If you can please chat, here it is. And just click on it. You'll have to log in with SSO. So it might take a minute or two. So I'm giving you this time. And when you're done, please let me know. You should end in somewhere here in this discussion board in the general. So if I'm giving you another minute to do that, please, can I then have a show of hands, a thumbs up if you are there, if you were able to click on the link, and if it took you to do. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Caroline. So just click on the link in the chat, go through SSO, and you should be in.
So Caroline, I couldn't access that.
Direct access. Do you?
Yep, that's correct. It says access denied. Either I'm not enrolled in the course or the course doesn't exist.
Okay. Do you have any? Do you have like any? Have you been using Ed Discussion before?
No.
No. All right. Guys, can you let me know if? Okay, just give me 1 second. I will. Can anyone else let me know if you were able to get in? Or
Hi,
if
Helen, I've got the same problem. Not added to any courses, access denied.
Access denied.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
just
it's showing I'm logged. It's showing I'm logged in. Like, so not sure.
Right. Yes. Okay. Can you just give me 1 little second, and I will. Okay. Was I sharing my screen? I was. Just I'll stop share for just a second. And I will try to get us there in another way. So that's actually would be like a proper way to get there through the LTI connection in a Blackboard course. Just give me one more second, please. And I've tried this with just a couple of colleagues and it worked. I typed this one on the screen before, and I just got some tip. So what were you saying? Type the one on the screen before rather than clicking on the chat link. So did you just copy pasted it? I think the link in the chat is wrong. Okay. So you just copy pasted it in the, okay, can you try to do this? Just copy paste the link from the chat, not to click it directly in the chat, just copy paste in the browser. Let's see if it worked.
Still saying denied for me.
Can you show us the link on the presentation? It might be
Sure.
different.
Okay, give me a second.
So I have access to it through some other courses, but not
Oh, give
for
me
this
one sec.
one.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Give me just 1 second. Apologies. Yes, that's the link in the chat is wrong. It should be this link. Okay, I am sending to everyone. Hopefully, give me 1 second. Everyone in meeting. Yep. Okay, the one in the chat. Now that's the right link. Of course. Yep. It's because I was clicking on the link, and when I copy the link address, it actually gave me a different address. Who might have thought? Okay. Thank you, guys. Sorry for this. It's really a very interesting thing. So if you copy the link address, it actually does not copy the exact address. It copies something else. All right. All good now. Everyone's in. Whew. Okay. We can proceed. I will share the screen again. Okay. So we are here, and this is how a discussion looks. Nice and clear and intuitive interface. Here you have all the list of courses, or the students will have the list of courses that they're enrolled into. If you don't have any, just this will be the only one. Here are the categories, how you can structure the discussion, and there are subcategories, and there are even like subcategories. And some of them come by default with the tool, and you can easily configure them as you see fit. In the middle, you will have a list of all the threads that have been created, and a thread is basically a initial post with subsequent responses, answers, posts, etc. And if you click in the thread, it opens up in the right panel with everything that's within the thread, and you can see there is nice formatting and it's very visually pleasing. So what I would like us to do as the first activity, if we can go to the very bottom category, Ready to Teach Week, which is now, and can you click on the very bottom post? What do you like about your job? Another way actually to find a post, here is the big search bar at the top. And if you can search a word that you don't remember what the post was about, so it's something like related to job. So if you can just type job, and you will see all the posts with the word job, whether it be in the text or in the title. You can also search by the thread number. So you can just type any, say, number, what was 377, and you can just get that thread. Okay, so if you can click on it, and here I basically am asking you to do the following. Think of what do you like most about your job, and click on add comment here or comment here. It will take it the same place, and just write what is it that you like about your job. So Hon's writing, I like to meet different people in my job, and my colleagues are lovely. And I like Hon's response, and I can heart it. So you can see the tiny little heart, you can heart it, and it animates it. It looks lovely. And this is what you might want to do with your students. encourage them to post something. So, and Anna is saying, I like getting students excited about topics I'm passionate about. Thank you, Anna. I like that. And I like my team. I like my team. You can post. Caroline loves how supportive everyone is and how much time the e-learning team are willing to give. Thank you, Caroline. I like that. Gabriella is writing, meeting new people, and she enjoys the interactions with my students. I also like that. And if you can also just practicing, it's a good rule to just heart each other's response, and this is what you might want to model with your students. Okay, I'll give you another minute to find the thread and Caroline. And you can, as Huong has just demonstrated, respond to a particular post within a thread. That's also possible. And while you're doing this, I am checking yep, that's all good. I was checking the chat. Lovely. Now, the next thing I want us to do is to create a post of our own. You can do it very easily, but just clicking this big blue button at the top. And you can see, so you as students, so I'm enrolled as an instructor, you as students, so you can just see questions and posts. When you're logged in as instructors from your own course, you will be able to post announcements. So for now, so what's the difference between a question and a post? It's purely theoretical. Question is something that requires an answer, something like, when is the report due? Or how many words is the report or the report should be? Post is more of an observation, something that does not require an answer. Hey guys, I read an interesting book on the weekend. It's based on the topic that we discussed in the class, something like that. So for now, can we just click? It doesn't really matter. So let's click on the question and just introduce yourself. So I would like you to introduce yourself. So introduction.
So I can't see the question post announcement. Where do I need to go for that?
Okay, so you click on new thread.
Ah, sorry, I missed that.
Sure, no worries. No worries
Okay.
at all.
I've got
So
a
new
question.
thread.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you click on the question, and then it actually forces you to select a category, which is good. This is how we structure the discussion. So if you can select ready to teach week, and then if you didn't have before, the text box appears, and this is where you can write. So I'll say, hi, everyone. Welcome to the course. Which is ELSS 1, 2, 3, 4. We during semester, etc., etc. And then you can click post. So I would like us just to practice creating a post. And the context of this activity is you definitely would want to introduce yourself to your students, and you might want to ask your tutors to introduce themselves. And it also will create like a sense of belonging, and it also will give the students idea that who you are and what you're passionate about, and just something, give a more personal touch. And while you're thinking and creating posts, I would want to show you something really exciting, and I love doing that. That's one of the favorite parts of the workshops. I don't know if you know, UQ staff has access to Adobe stock images with 250 million plus images. And I will pop the link in the chat. This link should work, definitely should work. And if you would want to do this with me, so you can click on the link and you need to sign in. At the very top right-hand corner, there's tiny sign in. So you can click on it. And you just type UQ EDU AU. And click continue. and it will take you into the massive repository of stock images. And if you want to use an image, for example, if my course is about literature, I would just write like literature. And there are heaps of books. Which one do I like? I probably like this one with the butterflies. And you just need to click on the word license, and it will start in just a couple of seconds to download your image. And it will save it to your library, and it will save it to the downloads. Just see where you want to save it. I probably would want to save it to my downloads. Okay. And you might want to, in your post, and you always can edit your own post. So you can click on edit and you can add a picture. So can we do this with me? So you can click on the insert image and you can upload for your computer, which we can do now, which we just downloaded our image. And you can post. Or you can embed from link. So you don't have to download. You can click, you can copy image address. You can right click on the image, copy image address, and I'll repeat my instructions just a second. I'll do another post. So click on the image, embed from link, and just paste the link. As you can see, so that would not be a recommended way, because it will see, you will still see the marks, the watermarks. So the best way is to download the image and just to embed it from computer. But if there are some resources that you might want to use, obviously with acknowledgement, without the watermarks, you can embed directly from the link. Okay, so I can see that there are some posts from Javier, the course coordinator. Lovely, and with a lovely image. Beautiful, I like it. I'm hard in this. And Anna's posted, Emma from the School of Education, School of Common Arts. Beautiful. Yep, and Hans. Lovely. So this is how easy it is to create a new thread and start a discussion. The next activity I would want us to do, and before that, I would like to show what actually is possible in terms of multimedia and how things work in it. So
Helen,
sure.
Caroline cannot find her post. She posted.
Okay,
cannot
right.
find.
You probably haven't.
I think I've created another thread called "Welcome to the Course."
Right. Okay. So was it welcome? So
Sorry.
let's welcome. Welcome to the course. DJ Caroline, here you go. Yes, I see it here.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. So
I don't know how to move it.
Okay. It is, let me see. So ready to teach, Caroline, it's here. And so you click on ready to teach.
Yep.
And it will be at ready to teach. And it's at the very top.
Now I've lost my post.
It's there. So if you click on ready to teach, it should be at the very top.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
I've clicked on the top. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can see. You can move the post. So you can actually right click and you can, I'm not sure if students can do this, but definitely staff can. So you can right click on the post and you can change the category.
Okay, so how would I?
Can you please try this for me? So can you right click on your post? Did you find your post?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Uh-huh. Can you right click on it?
Yep.
Can you click
change category?
change
But it's
category
already
and-
ticked as ready to teach.
it's already there. So if you want
Yeah.
to teach it somewhere else, then you can do this.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
So it's in the right place, is that right?
It's in the right place,
Oh,
correct.
okay. I
Yes,
thought it
that's all
wasn't.
good. So thank you. I love the, look forward to meeting you. Love to find people to choose stuff. Yep, beautiful. Love that. Beautiful. Okay. So, the content, what advanced content you can use. So you can embed a Padlet. So this is the Padlet that Huong was using in like many of the training courses. You can add any like 3D shapes or anything basically that has an iframe and is embeddable, so you can use it. And this 3D model actually was created by one of the UQ staff, and it's quite impressive. You can again use some games. This is a social vocabulary game. And there is even a music. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there is. Yeah, didn't get it. It supports, if you're using LaTeX, it supports LaTeX coding, equations, supports, so it's everything is here. So it also allows you to embed, for example, maps, one of the Google Maps, and it allows to do nice visual pleasing formatting. Okay, so the next activity I would like us to do is again go to Ready to Teach Week and find a thread which is called Walking Bridges in Brisbane. And again, if you don't know how to find it, always go to search, type Brisbane. And here we go. There are a couple of threads of identical content. The one we need is in Ready to Teach Week. So if we can click on it, and we have a lovely map and a task. So Brisbane Council are building additional walking bridges to support active travel. Please use the animation tool I will show in a second. See where you would recommend the placement of a walking bridge and like the other answers that you think are good. So you will need to press on the comment, or again, add comment, doesn't matter. And you will need to find this tiny pencil. This is an annotation tool. You can click on it and you will select the canvas that you want to annotate, which is the only one that's here. And here are the tools that are your annotation tools. I would want a big thick marker. So I'll leave in Fairfield or Yeronga, and I definitely would benefit from a bridge, and you can select a color somewhere here to St. Lucia. Yeah, I want that bridge. And then you think, no, I don't like the color. I want another one. You can't really see it. I want purple, UQ purple. And you just annotate it. If you want another bridge, you can just do a couple. You click done and you click post. So if you have something in the course content that you would want your students to annotate, this is how you do. Yep, 2 bridges to West End and 1 to Toowong. I like that. The more walking bridges, the better. You want one from New Farm to Kangaroo Point. Lovely. Okay. I'll give you another minute to find the thread and to post your comment to annotate the map. Aware of time. Okay. Any more ideas of the bridges? So you click on comment and then you find that would be the last one to the right. Icon, image annotation. a pencil with a squiggly line. Okay. The next activity I would like us to do is to participate in a poll. You can create polls in a discussion. Again, in the Ready to Teach week, you will be able to see poll, which is called Poll Barriers to Student Participation in Online Discussions. And I would like you to think, what are the biggest barriers to student participation in discussions? Please select 3 biggest barriers that you think prevent them from participating actively in the discussion board, which we would want to do. So we would want to promote active learning, active engagement, and we would want our students to participate. So I think that probably would be the biggest is fear of aggressive peer responses and fear of being judged by staff. And I believe language barrier would be the biggest one. I vote, and you can also, you can search for poll barriers and student participation, but please select the one in Ready to Teach week because there are similar posts in other weeks. So I can see that, yep, almost everyone, like everyone, 100% of people agree at 80%. So language barrier is one of the biggest ones. So this is, in the context of this activity, you can use it in your course just to get student opinion on even their confidence, how confident they are with this or that content that you've taught, or if you want to say agree on the best tutoring times or something like this. So you can create a poll and engage students to participate. Now, the second thing I would want us to do, in the comments, let's brainstorm what are the ways to tackle these fears or these barriers. What is it that we can do to promote active engagement and active participation? I would think like using encouraging language would be one of them, using encouraging language. Yeah, so can you please, in the comments, add your suggestions on how you would want to promote student participation in the discussions. There is research shows that there is a direct correlation between student engagement and involvement in the course and the retention rate and the student achievements. So we do want to promote active engagement. Okay, verbal encouragement. Yep, that's lovely. Yeah. One says introduce the tool with the students at the beginning of the semester and show them how to use the tool. That's also a good idea. And a discussion is really a very easy to use tool, so there won't be any issues with students using it. And there are just a couple of more things I would like to show you before I hand over to Huong. So NSA, making sure I'm also participating, that's absolutely. So you have to model the responses, model the language, and model the quality, if you may, of the responses. Yep, that's very, very important. And start with some light topics. Yes, we can use that as well. Do some icebreakers at the beginning of each week, or even the beginning of the session. There is an interesting use case where some staff uses a discussion to collect the questions, and they would be, and then they will answer these questions during a lecture or during a tutorial. So it's sort of using it synchronously and asynchronously. Yeah, their incentive participation, students get to choose the order of presentations. Yep, that's another good idea. Lovely. Okay, can we then, one of the mechanisms, well, if fear of aggressive peer responses or fear of being judged by staff are important for a student, anonymity might be a way to release the students' fears. So can we test how anonymity works in Ed discussion? Can we find a thread which is called anonymity testing in Ready to Teach week? So can you please click on comment at the bottom and write something, hi, hello, something more creative. Can you check the anonymous checkbox and see what happens? So I'll say hi. See what's happening. The discussion board assigns a random animal name or a bird or a fish name to a participant. And you really cannot see who is posting unless you actually want to see that the students to see who is posting. And other than it being really funny and engaging, it also serves another purpose. You will see if that's the same person posting a couple of posts or if that's a different one. And anonymous duck, really, I've learned so many animal names and fish names, really, really a lot. So this is how anonymity works, and students will be different animals in different threads. So anonymity is here, please use it. And please allow your students to use it if you see it benefits the course. And the very latest enhancements that Ed platform has introduced is the chat function. If we can all please go to the very top where it says chat. In here, well, as students, you cannot do this, but as staff, you will be able to create channels, private, they'll be marked by this padlock, or public. Where and when might you want to use private channels? If you work with groups and you might want to create a private channel and add students of one group to that so that they can just communicate with each other and like the rest of the course does not have to spend time on reading their communication. No, excuse me. So I've created one in Ready to Teach week. Can we click on this channel? So we click on this chat at the top and then Ready to Teach week. And let's say, welcome everyone, welcome to semester 1. And hit enter. Yep, private channels probably wouldn't be shown for you. That's why I created private channels would only be shown for the students who would be in that channel. And adding it is really easy. So you click here at the channel. So it says 3 members and you do channel settings. Okay. And you add members. Why is it not adding? Hello. Channel settings. Okay, so there's some posts here, Anna, hi Anna, and you can actually react to the posts here as well. Hey, Gabriella. Hey, Greg. So this is how chats work. Quickly show you how to create a channel. So you can't because you're students. You can click on new and then you type the name, say group 1 channel. And if you want to make it private, you have to check this checkbox, click create, and then you will then have to go to channel settings and add members. And so I would want to add Huong. I would add people and I would add Huong. And she would be here. Yep. So Okay, so we are in Ready to Teach Week. That's the channel where everyone is.
Yeah, I just can't see anything in there in my Ready to Teach week. There's no posts.
Can you click out and back in?
I
So
have,
just
yeah, I've only got public channel and Ready to Teach week on mine.
yes, correct. Yes, because the other two would be private, and if you're not a member, which you're not, you won't be able to see it.
Well, in Ready to Teach week, I can't see any of the posts that I can see on the screen. Yeah,
Okay. Can you just again click outside maybe and then click back inside, and then you'll be able to see
I've
it.
clicked other things, but it's still nothing there.
That's interesting. What browser are you using?
Chrome.
Chrome.
I've got the same issue and I'm using Chrome too.
I see, Katie. That's interesting. Okay. I'll check with the vendor. It shouldn't be happening, but yep, it's as you can see, some people see it and they participate. Yep. So in Ready to, so you see the channel, but you don't see anything within the channel, right?
Yeah,
Something like this.
I just see what you've got there. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying, can you just click outside, then click back in?
I have like 7
And
times.
okay, sorry. All right. So we'll
Sorry.
I'll check. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And the last, really, I have 2 minutes. Last thing I would like to show you is how do you moderate student discussions? So so you can comment and you can edit. As instructors, you can edit everyone's post. By default, anyone who posts, student or staff, can edit or remove their own posts, but you as instructors can do that to everyone's post. You can delete it, you can endorse. Endorsing the post shows, see the lovely blue ribbon, and it will say endorsed. It is to designate a high quality content, something that's valuable for the whole cohort, whether it be a question or an answer. And you can always endorse and unendorse. And you can copy link that would be a direct link to a particular thread, so that the students, you might want to link it in Blackboard so that they won't have to look for that thread in discussion board. You can copy direct link. You can print it and it will save the whole thread as a PDF file. And the students can do the same. You can make it private and it will be just between you and that student. You can mark it as duplicate. It's an easy way to streamline the discussions. If students keep asking about the same thing, you can say, okay, I've already seen this question, so you can click mark as duplicate, look for the post, say job. So I've created a couple of posts about the job. Okay, so this will be about the job. I'll mark it as duplicate and the students will get this message at the top. So the thread was marked as duplicate and it will be referring them to the one where the main discussion is happening. You can decline a thread. If a student posts something that's of low value, or if not quite nicely formulated, or you can't even understand what the student is asking, you can decline. So you can say, you can post a comment and it will be only shown to that student and to yourself and say, hey, thank you for your post. Can you please clarify what is it that you're asking? Da-da-da. And you will decline, the student will get that message and they'll continue. They'll work on their post and repost it. Yeah, or you can lock a thread, which means the discussion is exhausted, so there is no more input needed. So you can just close it, you can just lock it, and then it will say, so the thread is locked, it cannot be modified, so there is no input required. That's pretty much it. And I have 1 minute. Analytics. You can have, as staff, access to analytics in the course, where you will see, so this will be hiding by those under this icon. You can have the analytics at a view when, so obviously this was a spike. Was it today, Wednesday? No, there was one webinar on 1st of, so there was, so this obviously today's webinar, and you can see the participation and how involved and engaged the students were. You can see so many views, and you can see the threads, and you can even, if you want to see what categories are most popular, you can go to categories and just hover over a graph, and it will show you the data from that graph. And if you're interested how a particular student is participating, you click on contributors and look for a particular student. So I want to see Huong, how Huong was participating. And I see, so she viewed 52 threads, created 6, commented and hearted. And if you click on her name, it will actually give all the data on her. So if you are adding some incentive to participate, you can easily, maybe some, whatever, 5% to the course grade or something like this. You can easily view and see not only the quantitative data, but also the qualitative data. This is pretty much it. Were there any questions in the chat? Let me see. To get to
Helen.
analytics, students can't, you guys can't get to analytics, but when you are in your course, and let me, Huong, if I please have another minute, just 1 second, to show how to add a discussion to your course, and you will be instructors and you will have the analytics. It will be shown. So now you as students now just have this discussion tab. When you're instructors, you'll have the admin where you can do all the setup and you can go to analytics. So to add discussion board to your course, let me go. You basically click to the plus icon here at the top. You go to link. There are guides. I'll send the guides. Type a discussion, find a discussion available to users or not available for now as you haven't created much content. That's it. Then you can click on the link and it takes you to the platform. You activate the course and that's it. That's how easy it is. You can set the categories, you can post the welcome announcement or post it later. And here it is. And you will have your analytics and your admin panel. Very nice and easy, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy using it and the students will enjoy using it with you. That's it from me. Thank you. If there are any more questions, you can pop them in the chat and I'll be answering them. And I'm handing over to Huong.
Thank you, Helen. It's an amazing presentation. And now I'm going to introduce you to another tool. I'm sure that some of you here have been very experienced with Padlet. And if you have some interesting idea about how you have been using that, please share with us in the chat. So Padlet is another e-learning tool, which is like a digital board. So imagine that when you are teaching in the class, sometimes you want the student to do group work or individual work where the student work on an A4 paper and then share that around the classroom. So Padlet can be, Padlet is the digital board that you can use in the online or hybrid or face-to-face environment. So some of the features of Padlet is that it can be used to collaborate or share resources. It has a range of different formats, 8 formats for different activities and pedagogical purposes. As an instructor, you can provide feedback through reactions and comments, and other class members can provide reaction and comments if you enable these functions. You can also assign grades for post. For example, if you want students to do reflective post every week, you can come in, read the post and give a grade for each of the posts. And you can share link or embed within LearnUQ or Blackboard course, LearnX, and Discussion Board and Microsoft Teams. So here are the 8 formats, and I'm going to introduce you the most the 5 most popular Padlet, which include the wall, the canvas, shelf, the map, and the timeline. And we are going to talk more about which format is suitable for which of the pedagogical design that we have for each of the class. So in terms of pedagogical use, it can be used for big group or small group. So experience at UQ, some of the courses that have 500 students, it is amazing. I could not imagine how the instructor have managed the group, but they say that that is fine for them to use Padlet with big group. And the purpose of that class is to collect student reflection about different topics that they cover in the course. And second, you can use for different activity type, for example, individual pair work or group work. And as I mentioned, you can use that in face-to-face class, hybrid, via Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So in face-to-face class, the student need to have access to their device, and then they work on their group or on their own, post their answers or any solutions on the Padlet, and then the instructor will show the Padlet on the screen where students can get together back in a big group and discuss about the posts. Padlet can target different learning activities and objectives from lower level of cognition, such as remembering, to higher levels, such as applying, creating, like reporting solutions or outlining plans. So now I'm going to show some Padlet example. I will talk about that now. Thank you for your question. So here are some of the questions in the higher education context. So this is the wall format where posts are very close to each other. There's no gap between the posts. So we have been using that for course community or the introduction. So like in week 0, you can create this Padlet and send the link to the student. So to get the motion started for the course, where students can meet each other. So as the instructor in the course, you can have your own post with the photo and other tutors in the course, so that when the student get inside the Padlet, they will be able to meet the teaching staff of the course. And toward the end of the course, if you look back at this wall format, I'm sure that it will be quite lovely to look back at all of the faces in the class. The second one is a map format, which is very suitable for an ice-breaking activity. So you choose the map format, you can select what type of world map that you want, and then provide students with some instruction. For example, where are you from? Or can you suggest a very popular tourist destination in their country? And then when students go into the Padlet, they can share the link or the image about the place where they come from, or a good place for tourism. And then everyone can click on the list icon to view all of the destinations in the world. So it can be very good as a week one activity, but you can send this link for the student before the lecture, so that the student can have some kind of pre-activity to get to know each other. The next one is a shelf format. So in a shelf format, you should create the heading of each of the shelf. And then the student will be able to see what they are supposed to post. So this one is a pair work or a group work activity where the students are put into the breakout room. They discuss and they share with each other about the movie that they want to introduce with other group. And then they need to post the trailer, the title of the film, the trailer, and the reason why they want to introduce this movie. And as you can see that in designing a Padlet, you can have an icon, you have the title of the activity, a brief introduction, and you can choose a very lovely background paper. So the shelf format is very good for resource sharing or group work. And this one is another shelf format. And this one, I have designed that one for a course with different tutorial groups. So I have created one, and then what I can do is to remake or copy this Padlet to create it to another tutorial groups. Again, I have used a very nice background image. And when you are using shelf format for group discussion or group work, it's important that you have the instruction on one of the shelf. So the first column, for example, you enter the instructions here. And then when the student get inside the Padlet, they can read the instruction, follow the instruction, and then they join their group work activity. The next one is the canvas. So the canvas here has the potential to let the student create post, and then student can move their post around and link their post to the post that is related to them. So in order to use that format, you need to pay attention to the setting of the Padlet. Usually you allow the participant to write only, but for this one, if you want students to move their post around, link to another post, you need to give them the edit as well. But I'm going to show you how to do that in our practice activity. So another canvas format, and this one is pair work, not the whole class, but pair work, and you can use that for individual work as well. Students are reading an article, and they need to analyze the article by breaking down the article into different arguments. So what is the main argument and what are the supporting details? So after break down the argument into different components like this, hopefully students will have a better understanding of the article. And finally, the time format. This one can be used for activities that related to chronological order, for example. But this one I have seen courses use that for weekly reflection, where the student adding their post for each of the week that show their understanding about the topic or their journey throughout the course. So for this one, we also want to enable the option that the student can edit their post, because they might want to edit the original post because they're thinking a change when they have more knowledge about the course, for example. So now I'm going to provide you some demo and practice. And before that, do you have any question that you would like to ask at the moment? I'm checking the question that I have asked before. Is there any features such as history in Padlet where I can search for deleted posts? So unfortunately, Padlet doesn't have that features. It's just like a digital board. When you erase the information, then you cannot search for the one that have been deleted. So essentially, it's like a bot that you are using in the course. So I am going to show this one. This one is a timeline format where I have created and added different Padlets that I've been using for the whole semester. Like in week O, I'm going to use this and so on, so that I can share this link to my tutorial group and everyone knows that in 1 week we are having the Padlet activity. So and you can see that for each of the Padlet, I have selected the icon so that when I show all of the Padlet on my browser, it has the icon on the top, and that one is only the personal interest, but you do not have to add the icon. But let's participate in the first Padlet activities here. So I'm going to copy the link and share with you in the chat, and I would like you to participate in this activity as a student. So suppose that this is your course and you can see some of the staff members is here and other classmates have been introduced themselves. So let's make a post. In order to make a post, simply click on the red button with the plus, and then you can add, for example, your name, and then add your photo. And if you do not want to add a photo at the moment, you can search for an image or a website, or if it is your academic profile, you have the link, you can simply add the link here. So there are different options for you. So I'm going to do an image search, and I will put in a cute cat, for example. Yeah. So the setting that I have selected for this one is the new post will appear in the first place, so that I can see the new post appearing. So somebody posting the image of the brain and myself, and then hello. Yeah, that's very nice. So my suggestion is that you can create this course community Padlet and share that one to with all announcement, and then get everyone to share a post about themselves. And how are we going to create an account for ourselves? So I'm going to let you get you through the process of creating an account. So first you need to type in Padlet UQ, which I'm going to copy and paste in the chat. So let's click on the link, and we are going to create an account, a Padlet account for ourselves. But many of you here, or some of you here, have already had one. And for those who do not have an account, please click on the link here. And the important thing is that you need to select Continue with Microsoft, because as a UQ member, we are having Microsoft account. So clicking Microsoft will bring over our UQ credential. So when you sign in, enter your email address, UQ email address. So I'm just checking if anyone has any issues of creating an account here. So once you are in Padlet, if this is the first time, you would need to set up your account a little bit. So I would like you to click on the three dots on the bottom left. On the bottom left of the screen, the three dots, and then select Setting. So I have already added my avatar here. If you have a photo ready, you can change your avatar. My name, my email address, and the username here. It can be your full name can be added here, but you can edit that so that the link of your Padlet will be short and nice. So for myself, I just use my first name, but it depends on whether you want both your first name or last name is included in the link. And then for the language, let's select the topic. Okay, that is on the top left of the screen, the three dots on the top left, on the bottom. Hang on, the bottom left of the screen. It's the three dots.
I don't seem to have the three dots. I've got the clock and that you've got the recents. I don't see any three dots.
Okay, so it is down to the bottom of the screen here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I did say the top, but I mean the bottom.
Thank you, I've got it now.
Yeah, so let's click on that three dot and then select the setting. And once you are in the setting, the username here can be edited. So I just make it my first name so that it's short. But you can leave your last name there as well. So it depends on how you would like to appear on the link of the Padlet. And the language is English UK. And yeah. And then let's select the notification. So usually the notification update and new follower may be selected. I have disabled that so that I do not have to receive the information about product update or follower and so on. So I have unticked the notification on those updates. But I'm keeping the notification for invitation to collaborate and new submission. So in case that my student submit any post, I will know about that. Yeah. And once we finish with the setting, we can use the arrow on the top left to get back to our Padlet. And then we can create the first one. So in order to create a Padlet, select Make a Padlet, which is on the top right. It's the pink button, Make a Padlet. And the one we want to practice now is the wall format. So let's select wall. And the title of the Padlet, yeah, I am going to have my course code, introduction or course community. You can have your course code and then add the activity's name. And the description here is a brief instruction of what you want the student to do in this Padlet. So I'm going to say, welcome to e-learning 2023. Please make a post about yourself. Oh, okay, you made Padlets before, but how do I make them private? Not available to all. Yeah, so I'm going to explain about that setting as well. Yeah. So if you know all about this, yeah, then I will quickly go through the other settings. So the icon, it is very personal. So because I like the icon, I will select an icon. And also the wallpaper is auto-selected for you. This brown one is all right. But if you want something more fancy, you can select other pattern like texture or pictures, or you can add your own wallpaper. So you can pick the file. Remember the one from the Adobe stock that Helen showed you. You can use that one to search for good photos and add in. And for the attribution here, it is not enabled by default. Attribution means that the student need to sign in and then their name will appear under the post. So for the first few weeks, when the students still feel unfamiliar with the course and with each other, we do not recommend to enable that option so that the student can remain invisible while they are posting. But of course, with the introduction, they will introduce their name and photo. And new position, if you want new position appear as the first, you keep this setting, or if it is in the last, you would need to change that one to the last. And also, if you want to enable comment and reaction, you're welcome to do so. The required approval is not on by default. That means that if you want the student, if you want to moderate student post, then you would enable this option, but it will entail a lot of work for you. Filter profanity is a very interesting feature. If you know that you have a class of young and naughty boys who are going to post something silly, so this function will search for the silly or the naughty words and replace that one with a nice emojis. A remake is on by default. That means that if you want to remake or copy this one to another one, you can do that, or other people who want your Padlet can remake your Padlet. The URL here, this is a feature that I really like. You can delete the URL final bit of that, and then you can enter introduction, for example. So I cannot type introduction. So maybe I just put in introduction activity. It doesn't allow space, so you will need to use the underscore. So if you change the final bit in this URL, once you share the URL, it will look very nice and recognizable in the link. And if I finish, I can select next and can start posting. Caroline is asking if attribution is not on, does that mean everyone is anonymous? Yes, everyone will be anonymous, but some people might have already signed in. So once they sign in Padlet, their name will be appear in the post.
In your view, is it best practice to make it anonymous? Like,
yes, yeah. So we do not enable that option, just leave it there. So
okay.
if they want to show their name, that is good. If they don't want to show their name, that is fine. Yeah, we just want more engagement. Yeah. So for now we are okay. So now we have the space here, and Caroline was asking a question about the setting of that one. So I'm going to show you the setting. So setting is here in the share button. So if you click on that share button, what you can see here, currently the setting is secret. Click on change privacy. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So secret is the one that have been enabled for all UQ community. That means the Padlet is hidden from the public. And even if somebody try to search for your Padlet, they cannot search for that. However, if you copy the link and share it to anyone, anyone can join the activity. Like you are having a conference and you want people to join your Padlet, you simply create a Padlet and share with them the link. So I'm going to show again about how to get into that. So on the top right, under my avatar, there is an arrow, top right. If you click onto that, then you will be able to see change privacy. That is how you get into the privacy option. So private is the setting that you do not want anyone to contribute to yours, which is very seldom the case. Organization-wide, that means that your Padlet is available at UQ, and UQ community can search for your Padlet. And password is that those who want to access your Padlet need to enter the password. From the back end, IT have already selected secret for the whole institution. So that is one thing about privacy. And the other is that visitor permission. Can write is the default option. That means the student can come in, contribute a post. They can contribute multiple posts possible. However, if you click onto that, there are 3 options. Can read means that they come and read. Can edit means that they can come, they can write, they can edit their own post. They can edit other people's posts, and they might delete other people's posts as well. So that one, the edit one, is a dangerous one. If someone who is naughty, who want to delete their peers' post. However, if you use the canvas that I have shown you, where the student can post and move their post around, then you have to enable can edit. And if you change it to can edit, for example, I'm changing it now, you need to click on that dark area so that you can click save. If you do not click save, you click outside here, they will remind you. So click back here and then save and then go back and close. Recently, Padlet has changed something. So if you look at my browser now, the link doesn't look very nice as I want. In the past, the link looked very nice. But if I want to share a nice link to the student, you can click on the copy button and go down to the URL option down here. Remember that I have already changed my link into the word intro activity, and then I can copy to Blackboard. And then in my post, I share that to the student. And it still looks nice on my sharing. So the student can see that this is Padlet, this is from Huong, and this is the intro activity. So if you have already created a Padlet page for yourself, please feel free to share that in the chat so that we can all have a look or join your Padlet. And what we have been creating is a Word format for course introduction. So do not forget to post your initial post to welcome the student. And usually when you create Padlet activity, do not just give the student a blank Padlet, should post something or give them some more instruction so that when the student get inside Padlet, they know what is going on here, and hopefully it will encourage them to engage more with the activity. So now I'm checking if there is any question from the participant. Do you have anything to ask at this point, or we are all good? And if you have the link, please share in the chat with us. Yeah. So if you are all good with this activity, we can try the second activity, which is very quick now. So I'm going to share with you an activity that relates to the Canvas format. So in this activity, I enter a central post, which is a diagram of community of inquiry for online discussion. And what I've asked the participant to do is that if they have one activity for the class, a learning activity, can they share in the Padlet here? And then can they change the color of the post and link it to the related activity, whether it had to promote the social presence, the teaching presence, the cognitive presence, or the student presence in the course. So with this activity, it's important that in the setting of my Padlet, I need to keep it. The visitor can edit, so allow the visitor to edit the post. So that is the note that I would like to highlight. Otherwise, other type of Padlet, you follow the same logic to create the Padlet, change the background so that it looks nice. And if you want to get back to the dashboard, find the word Padlet on the top left, and then you will get back to the dashboard. And one feature that I'm going to show you here, you can see that on my Padlet dashboard, I have so many Padlet, and I want to categorize them or put them in the group or the folder, if you like. So what I can do is that I go to bookmark. It is also on the top. Go to bookmark, and there are different folders that I have created here. Simply create a new folder, and then you go back to your old Padlet. And then when I click on the three dots of each Padlet, I can select edit. So this one I have already put it in a group. So I'm going to choose something that is not. Okay, so this Padlet UQ Academic Integrity is not belong to any group. So select Add Bookmark, and then it will show different folder where I can add that Padlet in. So I'm going to put that in Others. And then when I go back to my bookmark list, I click on others, and then I will find, okay, so these are some of the Padlet for other purpose that I have been using for my job here. So that is about the use of Padlet and how to create a Padlet for your course. So now I would like to ask you this question. Do you think that you are going to use both a discussion and Padlet in your course, or you just use one of them? So is there any pedagogical implication that you would like to share with us at this point? Yep, that's great. Yeah. So Thao, can you explain a little bit how?
Yeah, so thank you. That great. Yeah, so today I learned more about the bookmark and how to group different Padlets. And so the discussion board is quite new to me, but then I find out that I can use the discussion board. So it's a board to put things there, and then I can embed Padlet as activities to organize different classroom tasks, online tasks, or even with the on-campus students. So it's quite interesting to combine the two tools so that I can have interesting for the student in the way that the board is the place where I organize the activities, and then Padlet provides different tools to design learning tasks in different ways to engage students.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you for your point. And Caroline here, it seems that you have been using Padlet for some time, right? And can you share how have you been using that?
To be honest, I'm actually new to UQ, so I've only started this year, so I've not used Padlet and everything. This is all new to me, but I have I've had some colleagues help me set up Padlet and go through it with me before today. But it's been really great because obviously you've pointed out a lot more different functions. My only thing is, because everything's so new to me, I think I might want to just introduce one or two different tools at a time, because yeah, I'm taking over a course, and it seems that previously people have used like Padlet and the discussion board on Blackboard, but it seems to me that discussion is much more versatile. But then I also have a question about how many, like using so many different tools, students are constantly going out of like Blackboard, but I suppose if you embed it in Blackboard, then it makes it more central. So it's just a lot of different places to check for things, if you know what I mean, and like keep track of. But so I'm just wondering about that as well, and managing that load. But yeah, I don't really have experience of using it, so I've no idea. Maybe it's very, very easy.
Yeah, so maybe just one tool at a time, and when you become more confident, then you can add more tools to the course. Yeah, so I think that for a discussion board, I have been seeing courses using that particularly for Q&A. So for course with very complex topical knowledge, such as in medical course and in some coding course, students have a lot of questions. And for courses that require students to contribute to the discussion as one of the assessment tasks, so they need the discussion board, create the topic, and then students come in and comment. And then the academics can go to the analytics and see how many posts that the student have contributed and quality of their post. And also the Q&A, it's a very, very good, because if you ask one question, other student can look at that question, read that question, and read the answers as well.
Caroline, is your course big?
Yeah. It's about 150 students.
It's quite big, so you might at the beginning you might be overwhelmed by the number of questions, and using a discussion just will reduce your email load. Just have a look how it goes, and then you might just want to.
That's what I thought. I thought it might be worth as well, just using one at a time.
Yes. And Thao, you have another question?
Yes, so I'm thinking, so can we embed Padlet link in the discussion board?
Yes, as Helen have shown, it's very easy. Grab the what is that, Helen?
The embed code, the iframe, and then put it in. I'll send the guide.
And then we can interact with the Padlet
within
absolutely
in the discussion.
Yes, yeah. But usually once the student click on the Padlet to open that in a new tab, it will give them a bigger space so that they can read different posts or all of the posts. If it is within a discussion, then the space is a little bit small. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So I think that we might wrap
Just
it
have
up.
3
Yeah.
minutes. I also, I think we might have time for a very quick demo of another collaborative tool, which actually was created at UQ by one of the academics doing research in artificial intelligence domain. There's a lot of now discussions about chat GPT being like a big problem now, but AI in this particular instance, an instance of Ripple, is actually a very useful tool. So I will just very, very quickly share what Ripple does. So basically, it helps to personalize learning and promote some active learning and also the 21st century skills as collaboration, creative thinking. So in the Ripple, students study the topics, they are week 1. Then they create the study resources within the system. Then the study resources go to a moderation pool where several students, 3 or 4, depending on what you set up, will moderate that resource. And if the resource is deemed like appropriate, useful for learning, has nice content, etc., then it goes to a practice pool for all the students to practice. So you can imagine the very short period of time, you can create a massive pool of high quality, which is ensured by moderation, resources that all your students can practice. And the practice done is done in an adaptive way. So the system throws at the beginning of the student random resources, and they understand their level of proficiency. So if it's low, they will calibrate, they will give them lower, easier resources to scaffold their learning so that at the end they will master the course content. So this is how it looks for a student. So they can create, moderate, or practice resources. If they click on create, there are different types of resources they can do. Your regular MCQs, multiple answer, hotspot, etc. So this one's worked a report. So there is a question and there are steps and it's all created by the student. Can you imagine what time was invested to create just one resource? And can you imagine how you would have been creating and how much time you would as instructors will be doing? Instead, you can do, encourage your students to do this. And then finally they get to an answer. This one's called just a report, just basically summarizing what they've learned about, say, triangles, quadrilaterals, etc. This is your flip cards. So different resources can be created. Then when they are created, they go into moderation pool and say, okay, so I want to moderate this resource. You first have to answer the resource and then you say, okay, this is good, this is not, it's adequate, the quality of resource is high, etc. Then you moderate and then you go to practice. Or not you, students. And then there are different types of resources you can practice, which will, and by doing that, they will master the course content. So that's a very nice and easy tool to use. And if you want more information, please book a consultation with us and we can walk you through. There are a couple of benefits for which we do not have time, but we will send you the slide deck, and which takes me to the wind up and the summary of today's session. Thank you so very much for participating and actively participating. And we will send the recording of the session a bit later with all the slide decks. Please, if you need one-on-one support in how to configure some e-learning tools in your particular course, book a consultation with us. And there are also all the guides on what we've spoken about on the e-learning site. And this is pretty much it. That concludes our session. Yes, thank you very much, guys. Huong, would you like to say something?
Helen, Lee
Yes.
has a very good question. Could this be used to create a marking rubrics with students?
The Ripple could be used to create marking rubrics with students. If you So if you want to grade student contributions, you can do that. You have the reports and you can download them. If this is what you're
thinking more in terms of I want to engage students in the process of creating the rubrics that we actually mark their assessment from. So I won't have reports to work from.
You
So,
can,
yeah.
sure, you can. It's though might be just engage them in the whole process of setting up Ripple and doing one small activity. That might just not be worth it. But if you want to use it more extensively to create different study resources, then the whole course will practice. That definitely is the tool.
Okay, so I need to have a one-on-one session with
Yes, please.
somebody
Yep,
to do that. Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
all right.
We'll do
Thank
that.
you. Appreciate that.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you
everyone.
guys. Thank you, and have a good luck in semester 1. And welcome to UQ if you're new to UQ.
Thank you very much. Great
Okay.
session.
Thank you. Goodbye.